The No Nonsense Roundtable, a weekly radio show and podcast where host Dom Genova interviews guests from all walks of life, all with amazing stories to tell. And now, here's your host, Dom Genova.
Welcome to my guest's interview discussion today. Maybe you want to call it a back and forth. His name is Jerry Falzone. He is involved in the music business here as a producer, as a performer. I just saw his show. Well, you would say you produced the show. Isn't that right, Jerry? The show on
I
Saturday?
was, producer and promoter of the show. I wasn't the producer on the music side of it. That was Chris Wilson, but putting the show together, making sure that everything worked, and that the sound system was there, the theater was signed. Chris had come up with a concept for the show, and I just helped kind of shape up a few things here and there.
Well, let me explain the show to everybody, because I was at the show, and it was at the Theater at Innovation Square, which seems to be a pretty good theater for the acoustics. I mean, sometimes you get something done at the Kodak Hall at the Eastman Theater, and it might be really attuned to this type of music rather than that type of music. Innovation Square, it seems like it's a fairly good theater acoustically, centrally located. Quite frankly, easy to park. Is right out there. But what is that? That's not the Xerox building. Which building is that? I mean,
it is the Xerox building.
That's the old, okay, and the other one is the HSBC building. Okay,
it's the old Xerox auditorium.
Yeah. And the seats are comfortable. Acoustics are good. But the thing is that this was American Tunes was the music of Paul Simon. Yeah. And I got to tell you, Jerry, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show is because it was really great. I know you have some stuff coming up, and we're going to do a little retail on that in a little bit. But I was really impressed with that. Now, Jerry's been on my show a couple of times, and Chris Wilson was I guess you would call him, he was the headliner on the thing, or main performer. But it was and I'm going to let you talk in a second. But it was a great combination of Chris Wilson and this really mellow, wonderful, soft voice that he has, and playing on his guitar, on his acoustic guitar, songs of Paul Simon. And who is he? I'm not familiar with the guy that he sang with. Who is that, Jerry?
Brian Ayers.
And the two of them were absolutely wonderful. And behind the curtains, there's this other band that you knew that they were supposed to be on the show, but you didn't see them; they weren't there. And it was Primetime Funk, and the brass of that band was magnificent. And I explained this that there was Chris, who took you up into the sky, 30,000 feet. You had the brass, and then he brought you back down at the end of the show. It was really a great show, Jerry. Really, really great show. So tell me,
thank you.
Yeah, how much time do you spend planning something like that?
The idea came up, I think, about 4 months ago to do it, and so a little bit of the behind the scenes sort of thing on this. The plan was to be able to rehearse through November and December. Chris got bronchitis.
Ooh.
And so he couldn't even talk, let alone sing. Yeah. So Primetime Funk got together for a couple rehearsals to just kind of work out their parts. And that whole show that you saw was put together. I think there were only 2 rehearsals with everybody in it. We were really kind of concerned how it was going to go, but I had a lot of faith in Primetime Funk. I mean, I know that band very well. They are the consummate professionals in Rochester of that kind of music, and they actually have played behind Paul Simon before, and David Clayton Thomas, and they became Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And I just love those guys. They're just a great band. And I had a lot of faith with with what they were going to be able to do, and Chris had faith with them. And the 2 rehearsals that they had, they were not perfect, but they were close enough to the date where the things that needed to be changed were. And you saw the result of it. It was pretty impeccable, beautiful show.
So is Primetime Funk in the Rochester Music Hall of Fame yet?
Not yet. It'd be hard to do that because they're the backline band. They're the house band for the Hall of Fame.
I tell you that, I mean, just the brass in that is just absolutely wonderful.
Oh,
And
phenomenal band.
yeah, just a phenomenal man. Well, I guess I'll nominate him today or something. The well, I mean, after all, good is good. Good is good.
They're way better
Yeah,
than good. They are a
yeah, yeah.
great band.
Yeah.
And what you see on stage with them,
Hmm.
it goes so far beyond what they can do than what you see, because they're just there's multi-talented instrumentalists. Like you saw Mike Edwards in there on sax, but he also was playing guitar. Well, his main instrument, I believe, is violin. I mean, that guy's a monster.
Mm.
And a lot of those guys, not all of them, I don't know all of them, but a lot of them are really pretty good friends of mine. And uh, like the trumpet player and Derek Lip and Mike have worked on CDs that I put out before. They're
Hmm.
just really, really great players.
Well, I was was Steve Cataldi. Do you know Steve by any chance?
Steve's in my band. Yeah, I know him well.
Oh,
And if
there you go.
yeah, and if
So,
you saw him on the ESL
yeah.
commercial that he's on, the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
band
yeah.
at the
Yeah,
very
he
end,
talks
that's
about
my
that all the
band.
time. Yeah. Actually, he's going to be on the show with you today.
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
you're kidding
yeah.
me.
No, I recorded him. Although his interview is kind of long, so I'm going to see if I can put the two of them together. But I was talking to him the other day, and he had this list he got someplace, and it says that in the United States, if you look at the number of musicians to population, Rochester is number 4 in the United States. And
Not
it's
surprised.
yeah, so my thing about I have this group now, if everybody doesn't know, the Rochester Music Mafia, and it's supposed to be like the Bills Mafia. Is to illustrate that we have all these resources here. We have all these bands and venues that people just don't know about. I mean, like the Innovation Square, and then you have this little place in Lima that's called the Fanatics Pub. Only holds about 100 people, but I mean, you have these wonderful places to go and see music. Uh, and I think a lot of people are not. What is the oh God, what is the one downtown? It was Tropics. I mean,
Well, Tropics was over in
yeah,
Charlotte.
okay. Well, yeah,
Anthology. You're talking about
no,
Anthology.
yeah. Oh, hold on a second. I live in Honey Eye Falls. Anything north of the Thruway is downtown. Okay.
Yeah, okay. If you want to call Charlotte downtown, that's fine. Some people might call it uptown because it is north, but yeah, Tropics is right on the lake, pretty much.
Yeah.
Anthology was a 900 seat theater, and I believe or venue off East Avenue, and I believe they may have come back. I'm not sure. They'd gone out of business, not out of business. They had shut down for a while, but somebody told me that they had come back. But I want to go back to what you're saying about music per capita in Rochester. I live in Florida now. I honestly thought when I came down here that I was going to be walking into the same thing. I live in the Daytona Beach area.
Hmm.
The Allman Brothers came from here. That was 60 years ago. And so I just assumed that was going to be a really monster music scene. And it's not. There's no music scene whatsoever. It's like to play a venue in this part of Florida, they ask you, what if it's a coffee house or wine bar, what Jimmy Buffett songs do you do? If it's a rock bar, what's your Allman Brothers list? And I used to play down here in the early 80s. And I swear that I've gone to see a couple of rock bands in this area, and they're doing the same song list that we did back then. So the music scene in Rochester is so much different, and I'm really kind of determined to bring that kind of culture here in Florida, in the Daytona area, and I'm doing it through an organization called the Atlantic Center for the Arts, and it's working. So I'm really excited about what I'm doing down here now too.
Good. So when are you coming back?
I'll be back at the end of April for an event that I have to be a part of, and then I'm coming back at the end of May. Don't smile.
Well, I'm smiling because I'm giving you a softball. When are you coming back? I'm coming back. I'm coming back to have this show, which I'm selling tickets for. That's what that is, a softball. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'll tell you about the show that I'm selling tickets for, because
that's what I mean.
That's more important to both of us right now.
Okay.
So the Paul Simon show that you saw the other day is kind of an extension of what I've been doing up in Rochester for the last, since COVID, so the last 5 years or so. I love producing celebration nights, celebration of music, and the biggest one that we've done has been a celebration of the music of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it 4 times. Three of those times have been at Innovation Square, and we did it once in Canandaigua.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really wonderful show. Chris Wilson's a part of it. Brian Ayers is a part of it. This year we have Miles McHugh is going to be a part of it. He's a great singer, guitar player. And I put a really killer band behind it. Liar's Moon is part of that band.
Mm-hmm.
But I add Sam Gredadaria on keyboards. I add a percussionist named Woody Woodruff. And I also add a harmonica player and named Tom Haney. And I get a really monster guitar player named Ray Belizia. We all come together and we put the show together, and it's just a killer show. So that's the next real project I'm working on in Rochester. But in the meantime, I'm bringing Chris Wilson down here on March 28th for a show.
Oh, he's great. And ladies and gentlemen, Jerry and Chris were in my studio a while back, and there's a song that Jerry wrote, and you just got an award for this song, right?
Yeah, it won an award in England for the best folk song from America. So I thought, hey, that's pretty good.
So what the song is I Won't Sleep Well Tonight. That's the name of the song, right? What inspired you to do this? We're going to play this song, but by the way, ladies and gentlemen, in a second or two, the whole thing and the video of it's great because I guess he sells guitars as well as plays the guitar, right? So
Chris, Chris does. Not like he used to. He had a storefront for a while, but he.
Oh yeah. So when you watch this video, you have to see that he has a price tag hanging from hanging from the guitar. So if like Minnie Pearl had a guitar, this would be the guitar. And but it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. But what inspired you to do that song? It's kind of a very soulful and sad and sweet in a way.
Well, it does have a real story to it. Quite a few years ago, I was on the road, and I knew this woman. We had a really nice, a beautiful relationship for a while, and it didn't last. There were a number of reasons why. Part of it was that she lived in another area, and I wasn't going to quit the band I was in to go there. And I hadn't seen her in a long. I haven't seen her since then, but she had a 7-year-old daughter when I was seeing her. And I was on Facebook one night and I saw a message and it said, "Were you ever in a band called Pearl?" And it was signed by this woman's daughter. I just recognized the name, and it was really funny because I hadn't seen her in many years. And about 3 days before that, I was driving down the Edgemere Drive in Rochester along the lake, and it just came up in my mind. I was just thinking about her, and the next thing I knew, I was getting a message from her daughter, and I said, "Yes, I was." And I said, "How's your mother?" And she said, "Well, the reason I called you is because she and I were talking, and I asked her if there was ever anybody in her past that she wished she had lengthened the relationship with, and she said it was me. So she found me on Facebook, and she wanted me to know that. And so the name of the song is "I Won't Sleep Well Tonight." So I was, thinking about that, and I had a couple of nights where I stayed up kind of late, and the crux of the song was, "This will never ever work," but thanks for thinking of me, and it was came up in it took me like 15 minutes to write the song. I remember being on the edge of my bed writing it, and Chris heard it at a job that we did together, at a concert that we did together, and he said, that's my song." And now whenever I play it, which I never do, I very rarely play that song but when I do, I just say I'm going to do a song by Chris Wilson that I wrote.
Yeah.
So it's had some nice little success with that song.
Yeah, it's sort of how your life would have changed if you did something different,
And I'm glad I didn't. I had a wonderful life right now. And I'm very happy with everything I'm doing. But yeah, there's always things in your past that you look at and you go, well, what would have happened if that was the path that I would have taken?
Yeah.
And to have that happen, a couple decades after the last time that I saw that person it was pretty interesting.
The sky is dying red tonight. I'm driving down the coast. Your face is everywhere I go. It haunts me like a ghost. And I won't sleep well tonight. No, I won't sleep well tonight. A tempest and a hurricane, the calm before the storm. How could something run so cold that used to be so warm? And I won't sleep well tonight. No, I won't sleep well tonight. And it's too late to turn back now. No, it's too late to go home. It's too late to change your mind. It's too late this time. No, it's much too late this time. And I won't sleep well tonight. No, I won't sleep well tonight.
I had a conversation with Jeff Tyzik, and we were talking about people. And actually, I have a video on this. It's called "On the Record." I go on the record with a couple of people about what should you have political views? Should you say about things about political views? I mean, what is the upside and downside of this? And the thing that he said that I thought was really extraordinary. He says it's our job to speak through the music. Rather than waving flags and making statements and stopping the show to make a statement or whatever. He says we speak through the music, and I thought that was brilliant. I really do. I really do think that was brilliant. So you are speaking. I mean, obviously you're speaking about an experience you had yourself, but you're also speaking to other people through the music. You're making them feel something, which is why I like musicians so much, because you guys are ultimately creative people.
Well, I mean, obviously I go out, I sing, I play guitar, I play in a band. I do some work down there in Florida, but the main thing in my life is, I am a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always felt that the real crux of being a songwriter is to be able to take something deeply personal and make it somehow universal,
Mm-hmm.
so that other people, There are very few really unique experiences and emotions in the world anymore.
Hmm.
And if you can speak to what yours were and have it affect somebody else, then you know that you're doing what you set out to
Hmm.
do. And that's what I've always set out to do. I want to affect people with the songs I write. And
Yeah.
when you have a singer like Chris doing it, I mean, that song's affected a lot of people. So I'm real pleased with that.
Well, I've been very lucky to be able to rub elbows with guys like you locally, and a couple of national guys. Between Gene Cornish, we talk every day, and Felix Cavalieri. And Felix, anybody who doesn't know, Felix and Gene were founding members of the Rascals, and we all remember the songs. It's a Beautiful Morning, Groovin'. Uh, uh,
You better run.
yeah,
Good
all
loving.
these. Yeah, they had 4 or 5 songs that were top, that were number one. I think 30 that were in the top 40 or something like that. 5 times on Ed Sullivan. Okay,
Yeah.
so one day, I'm listening to my alarm on my iPhone wakes me up, and it's a beautiful morning, and it starts off uh, with these bells, with these bells from Switzerland, and it plays the whole song. And I called Felix up because I know Felix. I said, Felix, something just really cool. I just listened to this. I mean, now you wrote this 50, 60 years ago, probably 60 years ago. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's on my ringtone. Everybody knows this. You wove your way into American culture with "It's a Beautiful Morning." He goes, "Yeah." I get it. He says, "You know what? That was really important to the guys in Vietnam back when." He says instead of revelry, they were playing "It's a Beautiful Morning." He says, "Yeah." He says, "I get that a lot." He says, that's got to be as rewarding as all hell. Something that you
Yeah.
did that long ago that's still affecting people at this day and age. So
Yeah.
I hope that happens with your song. I mean, because
Well,
it's a great song.
I used to write songs for a church that I went to.
Hmm.
And the very first time I did that, it changed my whole outlook on what I do because I didn't write like worship songs or anything like that. The pastor of the church would come up to me and he would just say, "Hey, we're going to be doing a message on hypocrisy this week. Can you write a song to introduce a message?" And it's like, "Oh, hypocrisy? I live it every day. Of course I can." So the very first time he did that, he said, "We're going to be doing a song on family problems." And he asked me to sing it and play guitar, and they, put a nice band, and it went over really well. People were clapping in church and all that. And, I was getting this really big ego. But at the end of the service, I was walking out with my guitar, and this guy was walking up to me. And, my ego was even bigger at that point because I'm thinking, oh, another fan, how great. But he came up to me and said, "You know that song that you played?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And, expecting him to tell me how great it was. He said, "I'm going through a really, really hard divorce right now, and you just made me rethink it."
Ooh.
When something
Yeah.
like that happens, you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
"Wow, there's
Yeah.
a
Yep.
real there's a responsibility in what you write, how you write it." And
Hmm.
I've been so fortunate to have people tell me that, like that's
Yeah.
happened a few times in my life. And
Hmm.
I'm smart enough, well, not that smart, but I am smart enough to realize that if a few people have told me that, how many other people have I affected that I'll never know about? And
Oh,
so,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and so I'm very careful about what I write about now. It's, I try to be very,
Hmm.
very clear, very concise, and I try to really inspire something personal, but also something uplifting or meaningful.
See, that's what I love about you guys. It's sort of you do the best. I'm trying to have that philosophy about the show. We says whoever listens to you, you're number one to them. He says, a lot more people
Yeah,
listen to Lonsberry. He says, but whoever listens to Lonsberry is not listening to me. He says, number one to Lonsberry. He says,
yep,
so, well, he says, I just want to, I just want to do the best for the amount of people that are listening, whatever. I just lost who was my best friend. I know I say this on the air all the time, but Chuck Mercado. I mean, Chuck was like if he didn't care if he
great
sold
man.
it, if he didn't care if he sang in front of 2 people or 20,000 people. He says I owe them my best, and all the great ball players were like that. Joe DiMaggio.
Absolutely.
Somebody may not have seen me before. Might be the first time somebody brings a kid to the ballpark, and if I'm not here, the kid's not going to see me. So Well, with that, I think we need to wrap this up, and let's do the retail. What are you going to be What are you going to be selling tickets for next? What's the next project? And it's in what, April or May or
It's
what?
in June, June
June.
6th,
Okay.
and it is already on sale at Theater AIS .com. It's / box office, and the tickets are on sale for right now. And that is going to be our fourth or fifth celebration of the music of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. It's a great show. It's been the most popular one that I've been involved in. I will have to say that the Paul Simon one was pretty popular too, and people really seem to love it. So we're hoping to do that one again too.
Well, before the show comes up, we'll have you on the show again a few weeks before. We'll try to see if we can't sell some tickets for you. But I don't take I don't take endorsements from people that I say things because they're somebody's paying me under the table for it. I got to tell you something. I mean that was joyful. That was really 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 good. It was really really good. Congratulations and thanks for your friendship. And how would I get to meet people like Chris without you? So we'll see it. We'll see you soon.
Well, thank you, Don. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. You can find our previous shows at nononsenseroundtable.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll make more.